How does one cope with the profound loss of a loved one? Whether a person like you or me, or a powerful past ruler like India's Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, who built the Taj Mahal, the shock and grief of having your heart ripped out can leave you adrift. As poet James Shirley, who passed away in 1666, the same year as Shah Jahan, eloquently put it, "There is no armour against fate. Death lays its icy hand on kings." Pain, the great equalizer and ultimate teacher, forces us to confront the emptiness that follows loss. We all face that one day, no exceptions. Hi, I'm Chris Mooney Singh, an Australian immersed in Asian culture for over 30 years. Today on The Talking Turban, I'll recount how the Taj Mahal story became a catalyst for my own healing and a pivot to a new career. Let's get into it. In December 1993, my life took a tragic turn. After recovering from a severe case of jaundice hepatitis caused by polluted water in India, I lost my wife, Peggy, to the same illness. Seeking solace through work, I landed in the principal's office of a reputable Indian school a few months later, searching not just for employment but also a much-needed distraction. Reviewing my application, the principal noted my lack of formal English teacher training, instead highlighting my background as a print and radio journalist as well as published poet, a skill set that intrigued him. Was he a closet writer? I also disclosed the recent loss of my wife but spared the principal the details. I was inwardly crushed, and returning home seemed unbearable, facing disapproving acquaintances and challenging dynamics with my stepdaughters and their hostile biological father. I needed time to grapple with grief and plan my next steps. As I awaited his decision, he leaned back and asked unexpectedly if I had visited the Taj Mahal. Inwardly, I felt a touch of anger that the principal would divert to something far away from my purpose of being here. Up to that time, the Taj Mahal was deemed too touristy for a travel snob like me. "Not yet," I replied, squashing down my irritation. Until then, my journey in India mirrored a cliched Westerner seeking spiritual enlightenment narrative, and this interview was taking an unforeseen turn. I wondered where it would lead, to an English teacher job or out the door. Next, the principal diverged into a tale from 1607 Mughal India. He recounted an incident between 14-year-old Arjumand Banu Begum and her young princely admirer in Agra at the Red Fort's Meena Bazaar. This annual charity event, designed for high-ranking women, provided a rare moment to feel a sense of unrestricted freedom in public for females normally kept secluded inside the zanana, the women's inner quarters of any wealthy house or palace. The only males in society who could attend were members of the royal family, because this yearly event was originally created by Emperor Akbar the Great, who used the bazaar to spot talent for his harem of 5,000 plus wives and consorts. The principal delved further into the romantic intrigue between Akbar's grandson, Prince Khurram, and Arjumand Banu, born to a family of Persian nobility. In short, for the 15-year-old royal boy, it was love at first sight. He was attracted to her beauty and personable manner, selling rings, ornaments and other trinkets to the constant stream of women customers, the funds from which would go to charity. Both teens, Khurram and Arjumand Banu, struck up an immediate rapport, and he went home declaring with certainty that she was the one he was planning to marry. Despite a prolonged 5-year engagement due to some astrological misalignment, their union did take place in 1612. The story, though captivating, left me seriously wondering about its relevance to the job interview. I had a more pressing concern. The royal love story, laid down in the palace's intimate rooms, strolled gilded courtyards and played chess in the opulent gardens. Prince Khurram and Arjumand Banu became inseparable, with the new princess emerging as his closest confidant and unofficial advisor. Her influential role wasn't surprising, considering that she was niece to the chief wife of Khurram's father, Emperor Jahangir, a disinterested monarch who had become an alcoholic and drug addict during the last 10 years of his life. Nur Jahan, his 20th wife, known for her statecraft and astute governance, inspired Prince Khurram to respect and rely upon his own wife. Despite frequent pregnancies, Arjamand accompanied Prince Khurram on trips and military campaigns, contributing significantly to the expansion of the empire. Jahangir recognized his military prowess, bestowing on him the title of Shah Jahan Bahadur for bringing the South Indian Deccan region under Mughal control. Designated heir apparent, Shah Jahan ascended the throne in 1627, eliminating sibling rivals and pensioning off Nur Jahan. Shah Jahan's devotion to Arjamand, whom he now named Mumtaz Mahal, which means crown jewel of the palace, is reflected in the many other titles and privileges he bestowed, entrusting her, for instance, with the imperial seal. He also awarded her with an annual stipend of 1,000,000 rupees, a huge amount in those days, gifted landed estates and income-producing properties, far more than any of his other wives. Thus, Mumtaz Mahal, suitably acknowledged as the soft hand of power behind her husband, performed a vital role, advising the emperor on state matters, standing behind a lattice window at times to provide whispered counsel, or softening his judgments regarding the actions of his enemies to calm and quell political flare-ups. The principal also emphasized her compassionate qualities and highlighted her contributions to social work, patronizing scholars, artists, and poets. Despite leading a luxurious life, Mumtaz Mahal also immersed herself in linguistic pursuits and wrote poetry in Persian, which was the state language of the time. Next, the principal shared vivid details of Mumtaz Mahal's daily life, including her love for music and bathing in a bathroom adorned with tiny mirrors illuminated by ghee lamps. As the principal concluded his narrative, I found myself becoming more and more perplexed about the connection between this historical tale and my purpose in that office, a journey prompted by grief and guilt, seeking solace through teaching as a tribute to my late wife. Now, if you're getting value from this story, please hit the like button below. I remain puzzled as to why the school principal was sharing this centuries-old story. Sensing my confusion, he explained the school's co-educational approach, emphasizing the success of the Mumtaz model for girls' education, as he put it. While it made some sense, I suspected there was more. And reflecting on my late wife's French language training in France, MA in anthropology, and her English as a second language practice, surpassing my own background at that time, I just couldn't grasp the full connection to the Taj Mahal until the principal came to Mumtaz's tragic death in 1631, while giving birth to her 14th child after 30 hours of prolonged labour. Finally, I understood. The principal's purpose was crystal clear, although he wasn't finished yet. After settling military matters in the south, Shah Jahan returned to Agra and spent a long period in seclusion. When he emerged, all could see that he had aged prematurely. The loss of his guiding force left him without a rudder and purpose. I began to see now the principal was a rather sensitive man who might have aspired to a different life, perhaps as an academic or fiction writer, but for some reason he'd settled on teaching and school administration. His interest in the Taj Mahal as a monument to spousal love hinted at some personal connection, and I sensed there was more still. Notwithstanding, the Taj Mahal held personal significance for me now. Loss and grief, whether on a grand or intimate scale, the principal had stirred my emotions and curiosity, making me his willing captive of one. Legend has it that Mumtaz, on her deathbed, urged Shah Jahan to build a grand mausoleum in her memory. Thinking about this, I doubted Mumtaz sought such public display. The principal noted that Shah Jahan, following his grandfather Akbar's legacy, loved building majestic structures. Constructing the Taj Mahal, the principal suggested, was Shah Jahan's way of preserving her memory through architectural therapy on a monumental scale. Looking back, I recall what the principal was saying: Shah Jahan's obsessive focus, bringing together the best architects, engineers, supervisors and artisans from Persia to India. 1,000 elephants lugged marble blocks for hundreds of miles. Soldiers were diverted from garrison duty to guard shipments. He pored over plans, met daily with his project leaders, notably Ustad Ahmad Lahori, a Punjabi Muslim of Persian descent who was the chief architect. All in all, 20,000 craftsmen collectively wrote his funeral elegy in white marble. Then, the storytelling took a fictional turn, blending historical facts with a touch of imagination. Delving deeper into the tale, the principal described Shah Jahan's alleged murder of Ahmad Lahori's wife, aiming to evoke personal grief and commitment to the Taj Mahal project. The chief architect, according to the principal, added a subtle hairline crack in the domed roof for symbolic revenge, causing water to drip on Mumtaz's cenotaph during monsoons. While intriguing, I found it hard to believe, given the Taj's enduring structure. While nodding to acknowledge the principal's story that Shah Jahan cut off 40,000 artisan hands, I inwardly dismissed it as implausible. Look, I've researched into how living descendants of these artisans contradicted that story, revealing Shah Jahan's provision of lifelong pensions to prevent replication of the Taj Mahal. Shah Jahan's obsession with architectural excellence did nevertheless strain the empire's finances, leading to heavy taxation and public hardship. Completed with ancillary buildings and final ornamentation in 1646 after 24 years, the Taj Mahal served prestige rather than public service. Meanwhile, in Delhi, planning and construction work there had been going on since 1639. In the following year, Shah Jahan stepped into the newly constructed Red Fort in Delhi, where he set up his new seat of government, eventually to be called Shahjahanabad. It's said that he never was able to walk in the Taj Mahal again, and I'll explain why. While the building project progressed smoothly, political unrest grew throughout the empire, not to mention the growing resentment of his sons, notably Aurangzeb, the Mughal governor of the Deccan region in the south, where he had spent 3 decades subduing vassal states. So what was the ultimate fate of Shah Jahan, the so-called ruler of the world? He was put under house arrest by his resentful son Aurangzeb, who repeated the internecine dynastic practice of executing, blinding or exiling his siblings in a bid for power. Meanwhile, Shah Jahan languished imprisoned in his high apartment in the Red Fort for 6 more years, only able to gaze at the Taj Mahal from a far distance. There are so many contentious stories these days, but the fact remains that the sovereign of the world died alone, without fanfare or fitting commemoration, in 1666. Thanks to Aurangzeb, the undutiful son, Shah Jahan's cenotaph is placed off-centre to that of Mumtaz, spoiling the perfect symmetry of the Taj. Life went askew for the great Mughal builder and ruler of the world, who, in the end, was a flawed human being along with the rest of us. Concluding his Taj Mahal tale, the principal revealed his intention to write a novel based on this narrative. Seeking approval, he shared this ambition, and needing employment, I agreed. His job offer, despite modest pay, did provide a starting point for me. This decision, I believe, stemmed from the marketability of having a foreigner on the staff, as well as compassion for someone grappling with grief and loss. Yet the principal's personal connection to the Taj story still remained a mystery. It wasn't until a month into my teaching term that I discovered his interest in the Taj tale and consideration of me, because the principal was himself a widower, as well as a father of 2 daughters studying in the school. This finally shed light on his kinship with the Taj Mahal. The revelation added context, and after completing my tenure at the school, I visited the Taj Mahal, which truly is an incomparable masterpiece in marble, with many uniquely designed features, including its chameleon quality, able to change color according to the time of day. Thanks to the principal, the Taj Mahal still resonates personally with me, marking the beginning of my 20-year career as a literature, PhD and creative writing teacher and later academic. It also led me to a fulfilling second marriage and proved that lightning can strike twice in a lifetime and that we can transcend trials and turmoil. But my success story contrasts with a somber postscript. The principal responsible for getting me started in education was later ousted from his position due to the acceptance of bribes for student admissions. Sadly, an all too common practice in India. The school, once built by a local Maharaja for his elite, now had a blemished history, which reflects the impermanence of institutions, I think, akin to the Mughal Empire's eventual decline in 1857. Let me conclude with a poignant excerpt from Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore's poem Shah Jahan. He reflects on life's fleeting nature and the enduring legacy of the Taj Mahal, a poem in marble immortalizing love above everything else. Here are a few lines. You figured it out, Shah Jahan. Life and youth, wealth and fame, all drift away on the stream. What did you achieve? To enshrine a dead ache in the chest? Nothing more. Let the glamour of emeralds, diamonds, pearls, and rubies dissipate like a rainbow into dusk. Only this Taj Mahal glistens white and splendid now, a teardrop on the cheek of time. I hope you enjoyed this personal account of the Taj Mahal story. If you'd like another, this time about secret sex practices in an Indian village, then click on the next video.